Yeah,
so
it's
many
just,
years.
you know, it's just so many years of just, you know, you meet different people, you do different things, you
Yeah.
evolve in different ways. It's just impossible to put a finger on any one moment, you
I
know,
understand. Yeah.
which eventually became full-time Muay Thai. It became a lifestyle,
Yeah.
you know, where that's all it was. And the goal was to be able to continue that lifestyle. And the only way to continue it would be to help to grow the sport. So that's why, you know, we had, for a while it was called Muay Thai is Life. And then there was a point in time when kickboxing was, you know, growing a little bit. So then we transitioned to striking corner. I always tell everybody the same thing when they walk in the door. Just focus on learning and have fun.
Okay.
If you put too much pressure on yourself, it's just not going to be fun and you're not going to stick with it. So as a beginner, if you're just walking into the gym or you're, you know, a couple months in, just focus on learning, have fun, enjoy the journey. That's it.
That's great. And fighters as well? They need
Fighters?
to also be different?
No, it's not much different, but fighters
Okay.
just,
Hi everyone, I'm Kasia and this is Rouge Mindset. So today I'm really honored because I am sitting down with Vinny Scotto. He is a lifelong Muay Thai practitioner. He is the owner of Legion Muay Thai here in Staten Island, the Chief Operations Officer of USA Muay Thai, and much more things. So I am really glad to be here with you. Your story is full of growth, of discipline, and also building a community through the sport that you really love.
Yep.
So I'm really happy. Thank you so much, Vinny,
No problem.
for this conversation here at Legion Muay Thai.
anytime.
Thank you. Okay. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
I would love to know, of course, I know that you grew up in Brooklyn,
Yes.
right? And then I want to know how were these early years for you? How did this environment shape your attitude towards work and discipline, as you have been doing so
Oh
far?
boy,
Right?
that's tough. I mean, you know, in Brooklyn in the 90s when I was growing up is a lot different than it is now. So
Yes.
it was a little bit of a tougher environment. So
Okay.
kind of forces you to be tough mentally. But just, you know, when it comes to discipline and work ethic, that also comes from your surroundings too, you know, family members, things that you see on a regular basis. So that's where a lot of that probably comes from.
Okay. And then I understand you moved later to Florida.
Yes.
How old were you?
I was 19 when I moved to Florida.
Okay. And why was the reason that you had to move there?
I didn't have to move, it was just
Okay.
a choice.
Okay.
I had family in Florida and I just wanted to try something different, I guess,
Okay.
at that point. So I moved to Florida and that's where I found Muay Thai.
Can you tell us that story? How did you start it on Muay Thai, please?
So I actually didn't start in Muay Thai.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I started, so the idea was when I was there, I was new. So I said, you know what, let me try something to keep in shape, maybe meet some people in the area, make some friends or whatever. So I started at a Kung Fu school in the cardio kickboxing class.
Okay.
I did a trial of the Kung Fu and it just wasn't for me. So that didn't really last.
Why?
But
Why do you think that?
I don't know. It wasn't really my pace. It was a little bit, you know, all the forms and all that. It was a little bit slow for me. So I did the cardio kickboxing for a little bit, and when I would do that class, after the cardio kickboxing class would come the Sanshao team, or Sanda, as some people refer to it.
Okay.
So they would come in to train after the cardio class. So, you know, as you're getting ready to leave or whatever, I would see them start their training. So I'm like, oh wow, that looks cool. So I would watch them train for a couple of weeks. And then I was like, you know what, I want to try that. So I tried Sanshao, and that's basically where it kind of started for me in combat sports. I competed in Sanshao, and then what happened was, you know, the place we were training, they were a Kung Fu school, so that was what they were geared towards. And with all the different classes and cardio kickboxing and this, there just wasn't enough time on the schedule to dedicate for us to train Sanshao. So we wanted to train more, and there was just couldn't fit it in. So me and a couple of my training partners, that's when we started doing both Muay Thai and Sanshao. And there was, because there was a Muay Thai gym not too far. So we started doing Muay Thai, and then just as time went on, we slowly transitioned more and more into Muay Thai, and then eventually went full Muay Thai.
Okay, and what's the difference between the two sports? Like the
So the easiest way that I could explain it is Sanshou is, it's a form of kickboxing, but it also incorporates like judo throws.
Okay.
So you could do hip throws, you can do single leg takedowns, where your knee touches the ground. Depending on the event, they can either allow knees or not allow knees. There's no elbows. So the rule set is just a bit different compared to Muay Thai.
Okay. And then what did make you fall in love with Muay Thai?
I don't really know. I mean, I guess it was just, so even from the minute that I started training Sanshou, like the people I was training with, like I used to have a podcast called Striking Corner.
Yes, I will talk about that.
So my training partner, Eric, who me and him were partners on the podcast,
I see.
I trained Sanshou with him. And from that, when we were training Sanshou, it was always part of our goal, whatever sport we were in, was always to try and grow the sport, because Sanshou was even smaller than Muay Thai. Muay Thai has grown a lot since then, but at the time, Sanshou was even smaller.
Okay.
So we started with trying to grow the sport of Sanshou in just Florida. And then as we transitioned into Muay Thai, then it became Sanshou and Muay Thai. And then, so it was just kind of like whatever sport I was in, which eventually became full-time Muay Thai, it became a lifestyle. Yeah. Where that's all it was. And the goal was to be able to continue that lifestyle. And the only way to continue it would be to help to grow the sport. So that's why, we had, for a while it was called Muay Thai is Life. And then there was a point in time when kickboxing was, growing a little bit. So then we transitioned to Striking Corner for the podcast, so that we weren't, just Muay Thai, just to try and gain more fans.
Okay.
But yeah, the whole idea was to grow the sport so we can continue with our lifestyle.
But you already knew Eric, or you met
I met him training.
Training. So
yeah,
there,
so that's where we became friends.
Okay. And you were the same age, like almost. Okay.
Yeah, he's I think a year older than I am, or 2 years, or something like that. Perfect. But yeah, we met before. When I first started training, that was 2004.
Okay.
That's when I met him. So over 20 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Alive with Muay Thai.
Yeah.
20 years already. Okay. So for how long did you stay in Florida before coming back to New York?
I was in Florida for 7 years.
Okay.
So 2010.
And you were always training, like every day in your life?
I mean, I would fall off for a couple weeks at a time.
Okay.
Florida's a pretty wild place, so you get caught up in things sometimes.
Exactly.
So I would fall off, a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there, but I was always, around it and back in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you decided to come back here to New York?
Yes, I came back because I grew up here, so
yes.
I wanted to be closer to more of my friends as I was getting older. And, Florida, like I said, it's a wild place. And when you're, 19, 20, 21, it's all fun.
Yes.
But then as I was getting older into my mid and late 20s, I was like, all right, I'm tired of this. I can't do this anymore.
Okay.
So that's why I decided to come back.
Mm-hmm. And Eric stayed there in Florida?
he was
there.
born and raised there.
Okay.
So he's still there. We still talk.
Perfect. Okay. So then I understand that there was a friend here in New York that used to own a gym. Or because how did you start Muay Thai? In the gym, because you wanted to run a program.
Yeah. So when I first came back to New York,
yes.
I'm originally from Brooklyn.
Yes.
At the time when I came back, the business that I was in, I was working in Jersey.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? Let me go to Staten Island because it's in between. I have all my friends in Brooklyn, work in Jersey. I'll be right in the middle.
Okay.
But there was no Muay Thai on Staten Island. So actually, when I first came back, it was a couple years, that I went without training because I tried, I went out to Jersey to a couple gyms here and there. At the time, there wasn't really much anywhere close in Brooklyn either. So it was a couple years that I went just without Muay Thai pretty much, completely fell out.
Okay.
But then there was a family friend who was opening up a martial arts school. It was, I honestly don't even remember the name of the style that it was.
Okay.
But he was opening the martial arts school, and I said, you know what, maybe I should try to do something with Muay Thai. So I said to him, I said, hey, in the hours you're not using it, would you mind if I started a Muay Thai program? I said, and I'll give you a percentage of whatever I make. And that's where it started. So I had no intention of being, full-time gym owner. It was just, I wanted to start a program. Maybe I could, help a few people learn Muay Thai so that I could have people to train with myself.
Exactly. Okay.
But that's not what happened.
Okay.
So it turned out that after a year of that, I was growing, and his program was not. And he said, you know what, I'm gonna pull out. So at that point, I took over the lease of that space.
Okay.
So that's where it started.
Exactly. Wow, amazing. No?
Yeah.
How everything came up, came out. Okay, perfect. So can you share, of course you have been involved for 20 years in Muay Thai, right? So can you share a moment from your own journey that really changed how you see the sport today?
A single moment? I don't think I can.
No, you cannot, right?
Yeah,
so
it's just
years.
it's just so many years of just you meet different people, you do different things, you evolve in different ways. It's just impossible to put a finger on any one moment,
I understand. Yeah.
For me anyway.
Yeah, I understand. But then what are the biggest lessons you have learned from Muay Thai that you pass on to your students as a coach?
Probably discipline is one of them.
Okay.
And you mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
Probably a lot of the discipline that I have with whatever I do comes from training in martial arts or Muay Thai. Just because you have to be disciplined. If not, you get hurt.
Yeah, that's right. And then how can you define discipline? For you, what is discipline?
That's a tough one to put into a description. But discipline is really, I want to say, more focus.
Okay.
Setting a goal, focusing on it, and achieving it. I want to keep using the word discipline because that's the only way I know how to describe it. But that to me is what it is. If you lose focus, then you don't achieve what you set out to. So you have to stay focused.
And have the objectives, no? To work towards them. Otherwise, you don't have.
Yeah,
path,
exactly.
Right?
If you don't follow that path, and go towards that goal, you'll never get there.
That's right. And then talking about Legion Muay Thai. So in what year did you started your gym? Like this Legion Muay Thai?
2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when I started with the in the other guy's gym.
What was the location?
It was not too far from here.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the next neighborhood over. So this is considered Rosebank in Staten Island. That was Stapleton, which is actually where Wu-Tang is from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. So 2013 I started. It was actually like the end of the year. So it was like pretty much November 1st, I say, as the start date. And that was a little bit brutal at first because I tell you the glory of how after a year I was growing, but I don't mention how the first 3 months, because I was new to Staten Island.
Okay.
There was no other Muay Thai, so when I set up everything, the website, the phone number, people would call, think I was a Thai restaurant because nobody really knew what Muay Thai was.
That's right.
But then I sat there pretty much for 3 months before anybody even walked in the door.
Okay.
But then after a year, it started to develop. So I was there so the first year I was, with the other guy. Then in November of 2014 is when he pulled out and I took over that place.
Yes.
And then November of 2015, I came here.
Okay.
That's when I moved to this location.
Okay.
So now we're on 10 years here.
10 years here. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And then, what do you remember from those earlier days? I mean, when all the students started coming, what do you remember? Was it tough, like to start the gym and to get to?
It was, because I had to kind of find my way in a sense, because I've always worked in business. I've owned different types of businesses, but never this type of business where it's service and people on a daily basis. And also, I was in Muay Thai for a lot of years, but I never put together curriculum, or I never did any of that. I would help, my coach teach classes here and there. I would help, in the corner at fights and stuff like that. But I never ran my own program. So it was the first time. So it was, it was a big learning curve to it. I had to figure a lot of stuff out. Mm-hmm. And then as I met more people in the industry, you could ask certain questions that could help you along the way, but it wasn't easy. It's still not easy. I'm here 12 years later.
But you had a lot of vision since then. I mean, growing the sport here in Staten Island and also in USA is amazing, right? Everything you have done until now. So the name of Legion Muay Thai, I understand it used to have another name, right?
Yes, so when I first started, I called it Staten Island Muay Thai.
Okay.
Just because, when you think of somebody goes onto Google to find something or anything you do, what are you going to put? Muay Thai, Staten Island, or you even put Staten Island Muay Thai. So I wanted to make sure if anybody was searching that, I would be the first one they find.
I see, okay.
So that was the main reason, just to put, the location and what it is. And then, but I never really liked that name.
Okay.
Not saying I don't like Staten Island, but I'm not originally from Staten Island, so I never really saw the need to promote it so much.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm fine with it. I live here now for however many years, 15 years. But
wow.
So then, as the years went on, and we became more established, I always said I wanted to change the name, and I always had the plan of the name change. I had logos and everything, but I just never had the time to actually do it.
Okay.
So then when COVID hit, I had more than enough time. So that's when I made the change.
Okay.
During all that downtime, I changed the name during that period.
And did you have like many options of names, or it was difficult to choose a name for
it wasn't difficult, but I would sometimes second guess. This was always one of my original options, and then I would say, what about this, or what about that, what about that? But this is the one that always stuck with me, just because I've always been a huge fan of ancient Rome and things like that. It's things I've always been interested in, so that's why.
And what's the meaning for you? The name Legion, what does it mean for you?
Well, it all comes back to think of a legion. It's an army, so it's about I'm not building an army here, obviously, but a community.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it's all about. That's what all of this is for. For us as gym owners to be able to take what we know, spread it to other people, give back to a community, and create a community of our own within.
Yeah, it's a really powerful name. I mean, it's like Legion is like short and strong.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you feel like in a community with that. So I have seen you like as a coach. You really connect with all your fighters. I have seen it with Rob especially. Yeah, it's like a father figure to them. So I always see that energy in you. So what does it mean to you to guide your fighters in that way, like that type of figure?
I mean, for me. A lot of people say, when you're a coach, you play a lot of different roles. You're the therapist, the parent, the sibling, you play a lot of different roles. For me, I just want to be able to share with them what I know. And if their goal is to compete, I want to help them succeed the best way that I can. Okay. That's my goal, is to just, because, Muay Thai, obviously, like everyone else in the world, it changed my life. It helps you with discipline, it helps you with focus, it helps you with just a lot of different aspects in life, and I want to be able to do that for other people too, and that's the whole point to all of this. And when it comes to fighters specifically, it's difficult. It's not difficult. It's like anyone else, where you want to help them succeed, but you have to do it in a little bit of a different way, because they're putting their lives in danger by going into the ring. So you have to give a little extra special attention, in my opinion, just to make sure that, for me as a coach, I want to make sure I know they're safe when they go in there. I don't want to put anybody in there and then they get hurt. So there's a little bit of anxiety there too at certain times. But everybody fights for a reason. What that reason is, it's different. Some people fight just because they love competition. Some people fight just because they're trying to channel something from somewhere in their life that, you know, that this is how they want to deal with it. Everybody has their own reason. So I want to help them with fixing whatever they're trying to not fix, but I want to help them solve whatever problem they're trying to fix. Okay. And if fighting can do that, great.
That's right. And what advice? Of course, Rob mentioned some like a good advice that you gave him. But what is the advice you always?
Well, he didn't really give you advice.
Well, he mentioned that for him, he stayed in his
yeah,
mind,
it stayed in his head. But see, that's the way I am. You know, I'm not you know, a mythical creature where I'm going to give you some lifelong crazy advice, but I'm going to help you in whatever way that I can. Mm-hmm. And for him, I could tell that that's what he needed, because he has the talent and he just didn't really have the direction. And when I lit that fire under him, that's when it changed. Yeah. You know, I knew, and from the first time I said it, when he told me he wanted to stop coming, and I called him a quitter. Okay. You know, I think that was, I don't know if he mentioned that, but so I knew that I saw it trigger him. I saw it in his face. So I knew that if I kept doing it, it was gonna make him change what he was doing, you know. Okay. And I saw that the other thing that he mentioned, he would come in, he would train, and again, he's an athletic kid, he's strong, talented, but you could see he was just kind of going through the motions. And as soon as I said to him, when are you gonna take this shit serious? You know, that's when something in his brain changed. And everybody kind of has that switch that makes them change their path. And you just kind of have to find out what it is. And that's, you know.
But it's like you do a lot of observation, you hear, like you listen to them, right? I mean, to understand.
I do.
What words you need to say.
You have to, you know, you could see it just in a person's, you know, appearance, when you say certain things, how they react, the facial expressions they make. You know, when I'm sitting at my desk, people think I'm not paying attention, but I'm always listening. So I can always hear what people are saying to each other, what people are doing, and you know, you kind of figure it out by people's reactions. People's reactions will tell you everything.
Wow. And then how do you know, or what the body language, I don't know, that a person, a student has the talent to be a fighter, like has all in him or in her to be a fighter? What are the...
You could tell just by watching the way they train, the way they spar, the way they carry themselves. And everybody has it in them. Yes. They just have to find it or want to find it. So anybody can be a, you know, you think back to ancient times. You had no choice but to be a fighter. If you didn't fight, you were going to die. So it's, you know, everybody has it in them. It's just a matter of what's going to pull it out, if they want it pulled out. You know, in this, obviously in 2025, you don't have to fight. It's not the world we live in anymore. So if you don't want to, that's fine. But if you do, you have to figure out how to get it.
Wow. Okay, nice. Okay. Yeah, so how do you define the culture here in Legion Muay Thai? I mean, what is the energy or the values you want to build in this community in Legion Muay Thai?
The culture here that I've tried to build is respect. I don't want it to be a gym that people just go in and try to beat somebody up. And you know, one of the things I say on a regular basis is, you're not winning here. You know, you're not going to win here, because this isn't a fight. This is to learn. So respect is one of the things that I preach more than anything, because I never wanted like an egotistical gym where you walk in and it's just egos, people giving dirty looks, trying to size you up when you walk in the door, because that pushes people away. So that was something that I never wanted. I always wanted kind of like an arms open type of thing where we welcome.
Like a family, right?
Yeah, exactly. We welcome anyone, and nobody's judging you. We're all here to learn for the same reason.
Okay. And I mean, talking about male and female students, do you have like almost the same percentage?
No.
Or?
We're majority male. I've always tried to even that out, but I don't know if it's the location of, you know, this part of the island that we're on, or because I see a lot of other gyms do have a pretty even, you know, population. But we just don't, no matter how hard I've tried. I've tried female only classes, I've tried a whole bunch of different stuff, but it just, you know, obviously it's a combat sport, so it's always going to be a little bit more male dominated. But here specifically, we're very male dominated, no matter how hard I try.
And what is the average of ages that your students
We're
here?
5 and up. So
5 and
we
up.
have youth is 5 to 7, juniors is 8 to 11, teens is 12 to 16, and adults is 17 and up.
Okay. And the sparring sessions, how many a week do you have?
We spar on Saturdays.
Saturdays.
Yeah, so throughout the week we have, obviously pad work classes, but we have partner drills classes, which is like the guided sparring,
Yes.
where the coach is telling you what to throw, how to defend it, that type of thing.
Okay.
But our actual live sparring is only on Saturdays, just because that my philosophy that I go by is that you get more hurt sparring than you do competing.
But it has to do that way, no? Otherwise, or no, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think it's necessary to spar every day of the week.
Okay.
Do I think it's necessary to train, drill, clinch?
Okay.
Yes, that's
Okay.
necessary as much as possible. But sparring, I don't think, I don't think it's necessary daily. Because like I said, you get hurt more sparring than you do competing. And that's where you see most of injuries. And then you have people who spar too hard, like I said. They want to win in the gym, but it's not, that's a culture I've always tried to push away.
But not necessarily sparring has to be so strong, right? Maybe it's just...
No, I don't allow them to spar hard at all. And you see, my fighters are doing okay.
Yeah.
We don't spar harder. Most of the contact drills that we do on a regular basis are, partner drilling, clinching, stuff like that. I try to keep to about 30-40% power. When we spar on Saturdays, maybe 50-60% power.
Okay.
But never harder than that, because then you have unnecessary injuries. And also, when you look at it from a different perspective other than just competing, like if I have two guys that are active competitors, yeah, I might let them go a little bit just because I know that they know what they're doing, they know how to control themselves. But not everybody here is here to fight.
That's right.
Most people got to go to work the next day. They don't want to go to work with a black eye or, a bruised rib. So we have to, cater to everyone. And like I said, if I have competitive athletes that are sparring with each other, yeah, I might let them go a little bit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to keep it controlled.
And speaking about the clinching, I understand that clinching in Thailand is like really important. Like the judges really give you points by doing the clinching. But what do you think about clinching here in the US?
I wouldn't say they give you points.
Okay.
Clinching kind of has its own type of scoring system within.
Okay.
Position matters, posture matters, a lot of things matter when it comes to the clinch.
Yeah.
But it plays a very huge part, very big part in the sport. In Thailand, they clinch daily, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Here, it's very difficult to compare the way we train here to the way they train there, because it's just a different lifestyle.
Yes.
We can't mimic what they do. They have these guys that train there, they're training for 8 hours a day the way we work for 8 hours a day. So you can't really compare it. Do I try to have my guys clinch as much as possible? Yeah, at least 2, 3, 4 times a week. But it's not feasible to do as much as they do over there. Nothing is feasible. Even the amount that they run, the amount that they train, the amount that they clinch, whatever it is, it's just impossible to mimic with the lifestyle here.
I understand. Okay, well. And then talking about the partnership you have with Corner, can you explain a bit more about that, please?
That's CRNR Gyms.
CRNR.
Yeah, so it stands for Corner.
Corner, right?
So just like Combat Corner, it's Corner Gyms.
Yeah.
So what that is basically a sister company to Combat Corner.
Okay.
Me and the owner of Combat Corner are partners in that. And that business is about designing and outfitting gyms. So that came from basically just I have a background in construction also. I've done kitchen design, bathroom,
Amazing.
Yeah, so I used to have a construction company.
Okay.
So I've always been friends with Dan from Combat Corner. We spoke over the years always about possibly working together or doing something together. And then just, this idea came up and we ran with it. So basically what we do is we could either design your gym, complete layout, or you can just purchase equipment, which we sell the equipment you need to outfit your gym, the mats, the bag racks, the cage panels, boxing rings, heavy bags, all that stuff that you need to make your gym run, we do. So you can either purchase that, or you can go with full design service, where with that, we're doing full 3D renderings where you could actually see what your space is gonna look like before you buy anything. So you know it's gonna be, you know, we're helping you build your dream gym, pretty much.
Amazing.
And it's a fully custom solution. So it's not like, you know, we're not trying to take stock things and fit it into your gym. Everything is gonna get built 100% custom
Customized.
to fit your gym the way you want it to.
Okay. And how long does a project in average it takes you to?
It all depends. I mean, every project is different. I could tell you right now, when it comes to the design aspect, I would say approximately 2 weeks to do the design. And then if everything's good with the design and you're happy with it, if you decide to order the equipment, right now the turnaround time is about 12 to 16 weeks from the date of order to the date of delivery.
Nice. No, it's fast.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, but it's, you know, if you need mats tomorrow, it's not going to happen with us. You know, it's 12 to 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Because
but everything is custom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Then, so you have taken on, or do you have so many roles in life?
Yeah.
So number one, how do you have all the energy to do everything? Because you're a coach, gym owner,
I don't.
the chief officer, operations officer in USA, so a father.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you do that?
A lot of coffee. A lot of coffee.
What type of coffee? Like espresso?
Yes, a lot of espresso.
Okay, yeah. How many hours do you sleep every day?
Maybe like, I would say 4 to 6, depending on on the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So, but then how do you stay balanced and focused? Do you have any ritual?
Not a ritual, but you know, obviously, I am human, so sometimes I tend to, you know, mismanage my time, or I'll spend a little bit more time on this, but I have things I should be doing here. So it's a juggle, a constant juggle. So I'm always trying to make time for everything. It gets hard sometimes, but then sometimes it just flows and it's easy. So, but
wow,
it can be difficult.
Do you rest on Sundays? Do you have any rest day, or?
You remember the part you said that I'm a father? No.
That's right. Do you have 2 kids?
2, yes.
2, right? Boy and a girl?
Boy and girl. My son is 5, my daughter's 8.
Okay, 5 and 8
So
are
even,
still
you know,
young.
between them with soccer and basketball and all the different things, and so there's not much downtime. Actually, yesterday, the basketball was canceled for everyone for some reason, and there was nothing else, no other games, so I spent my day at Costco.
Okay.
That's rest.
Sundays is busy at Costco, right?
Yeah.
And then do you want them to train?
They do.
Muay Thai? They do train.
They do.
Okay.
I don't push it on them because I know that if I do push it on them, they're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
So I kind of let them. I mean, right now I'm at the point where I'm not forcing them, but I'm making them come at least once a week.
Okay.
Just because I can't have them go through life without knowing anything. They have to know at the very least how to defend themselves in some way, shape, or form, you know. So they come once a week for now, sometimes twice, depending on the week.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't want to force it on them. Like I would never force competition or sparring or anything like that on them because I don't want them to absolutely hate it. So I'm just kind of taking it slow, trying to grab them, get them interested.
Yeah,
But-
they are still young, right? With time, they will be maybe more interested in
Yeah, exactly.
that.
So we'll see. As they, you know, become better friends with people in the classes,
Yeah.
maybe they'll, you know, enjoy it a little bit more.
And who do you think is more into Muay Thai? Like you can see, no? That they
Out of
enjoy
my
more.
kids? It depends, honestly, because you have some days where my daughter's more into it, and then some days where my son's more into it. So it's kind of like
depends.
they're both kind of like in the same place with it.
But I like that they do it together, right? They are in the class together.
Well, they're in different classes,
and
though.
Because of
Because of
the
the
5
age
and 8.
groups. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's 5 to 7, and then you
8
told
to
me,
11,
that's
yeah.
right. But it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay, perfect. And then you have helped USA Muay Thai nationwide, organizing, because I understand you organized the youth challenges, upgrading the website, I understand, and pushing the sport's visibility, right? So how do you feel more proud about all the work you have done so far in USA Muay Thai?
In USA Muay Thai, I mean, I never really look at it like that, you know,
Okay.
where I do something and I feel proud about it.
Okay,
I
okay.
just, because it's there's, you know, a lot of layers to it, right? So
Okay.
obviously if I can help grow the sport from that aspect, then it keeps what I said earlier. You know, my goal was always to grow the sport for my own lifestyle because I want to keep this my lifestyle. And still to this day, you know, with USA Muay Thai, if I can grow the sport, I can continue to live the lifestyle of being involved in this sport.
Yeah.
But that now it also comes from, there's a different aspect to it as well, you know, because if I grow the sport, then that'll help with also my gym to grow because the sport's growing. So there's a lot of different layers to it. So I don't do things with the intention of, oh, wow, I'm proud of that. You know, it's just,
Okay.
I do it just because I know that it's what has to be done in order to grow the sport. So yeah, you mentioned I did the website for USA Muay Thai. The youth challenge events that we had here in New York, I did those. I hosted
Okay.
those. I help with the national tournament every year that we do. A lot of different aspects, you know, and there's a lot of good people involved in USA Muay Thai, and when we all work together, we can make good things happen.
That's right. And then how did you started working in USA Muay Thai? I mean, having this position in there.
I started, when did I start with USA Muay Thai? I want to say like 2017, 2018 maybe.
Okay.
And I just started as like being the local New York guy that was
Okay.
going to kind of help on this side. But then I just kind of got involved in more and more and more, and then, you know,
You enjoy it.
history from there.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah.
Wow, nice. Really nice. Then the USA Grand Nationals will be on March, right? End of March,
Yes.
2026.
Yeah, so this year, it's from the 26th to the 29th. You have 26th is check-in, 27, 28, 29 are the competition days.
Yes.
So we're trying something a little different this year.
Can you tell them?
Yeah, so last year it was 5 days total. You had check-in and 4 days of competition.
Okay.
We always try to limit the brackets to 8 per weight class.
Okay.
Just because our format, we require weigh-in and doctor check every day that you compete.
Okay.
So with that, you need 1 day per round. You can't fight more than once a day.
Okay.
So
That's good.
we've always done 4 days just because it gives you an extra day to spread things out for like if you have a big round 1 or whatever. So, but this year we're gonna, and last year we actually increased because there were some divisions that had big wait lists.
Okay.
Because they hit 8, but then they had 3 or 4 or 5 on the wait list in case
Okay.
somebody dropped out. So you said, you know what, we have 4 days, let's just increase the number to 16, because
Okay.
then that's what you need for 4 days. So this year we're gonna do 3 days. We're gonna cap it at 8, hard cap at 8, but we're also gonna do, if needed, 3 rings. So,
rings,
so
okay.
it'll be shorter, because I know also one of the reasons is it's a little bit more difficult, you know, the amount of days when it's a bigger tournament, longer tournament. People have to take more days off of work. You have to, you know, do certain things.
More
It's-
expensive
Yeah,
too, right?
exactly. Another night in the hotel,
That's right.
car rental, whatever it is. So it becomes a little bit more expensive. So now we're trying to shorten it to 4 days total, just to make it easier for people when it comes to competing.
Always in Delaware, right?
Actually, not always.
No?
It is this year.
Okay.
But we were actually considering some different places.
Okay.
But I mean, last year the hotel, the venue, they were really awesome.
Okay.
So we decided to go back there
back.
again, just because it worked out.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So this year again in Delaware, we'll
It's
see.
really well organized. I was there with my son last year, and then yeah, it was perfect. I mean, I really enjoyed Everything was smoothly, and I saw you. I didn't meet.
See me running back and forth?
Yeah, you were always there and coaching and doing everything. I said, wow, he never stops. I saw you that time.
I was watching on my watch. I was doing like 20,000 steps a day, just going back and forth.
Yes.
You know, making sure, because there's a lot of things that I help out with at the tournament, with the technical stuff, like, you know, the live streaming and the live scoring and all that type of stuff. And then I have my own athletes, and so yeah.
How many athletes were competing?
Last
from
year,
Legion Muay Thai?
I think I had 4 last year, if I remember. Yeah.
Wow. Nice. And this year, well, next year, how many?
I don't know yet.
Not yet.
It's too soon.
Too soon to know. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I want to know about the mindset and your philosophy. So you have, as we have been speaking, you are a coach, owner, a gym owner, a leader. So how does your mindset has evolved during this time, all these years in Muay Thai? I don't know, your mindset, how you look at things, your coaching.
I mean, if you're talking about coaching specifically, I mean, that evolves as time goes on, just because, you know, no matter what role you play, you never stop learning.
Yes.
And I'm a believer in continued education, because if you think you know it all, then that's it, you're finished. So I'm always trying to learn. You know, I've become friends with some of the top coaches in the country, and you know, I actually always ask them for help, just so I can see how they do things, just so I can learn myself. So I'm always trying to evolve in that sense.
Okay.
And that's, you know, sometimes where mindset changes also. You may see something different, you're like, oh wow, I like that, let me do this. And that, you know, is a little change. And so it's just, for me, it's all about continuing to learn and grow.
Always, yeah. And you learn from other people too, right?
Yeah, always. You could learn from your athletes.
Yes.
You know, you could learn from anyone. You just have to keep your eyes open.
Yeah, observe, and yeah, exactly. Yeah, so what does community means in combat sports? Do you always need a community, like, to succeed in combat sports? Like, as you said, like being a...
Are you talking about in a gym environment?
In a gym environment, yeah.
I think so. If you don't have a good community in your gym, then it's not going to succeed.
Okay.
Because you're always, you know, you're going to have people that don't like each other. I mean, that's going to happen anyway, but it'll happen more. You know, if you don't build a good community with a specific, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a specific, like, mindset in place. You know, like I said, one of the things that I try to focus on is respect. So that doesn't have to be what you do, but you do need some type of community with a specific theme, if you want to call it, or a way that you want your community to be, so you have like-minded people that come together. If you have no community, no structure, no nothing, and you have all these different people, they're eventually going to all just disappear, because it's just not for them. People want to feel like they belong to something, like they can be a part of something that is how they think, how they feel. And if they don't feel that, they're not going to stay. So it's very important to have a good community.
And then when you're training a fighter to go, for example, to the Grand Nationals, of course they come to class, normal classes, and then you give them extra training?
Yes.
Private, of course, always you need to do.
Yeah, so when it comes to my athletes that compete, I require them to train in the regular classes.
Okay. At least how many days?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them.
Okay.
There's no skipping regular training just because you're competing. Like, you're not, to me, nobody's above anything. So you're gonna come here, you're gonna work with beginners, you're gonna rep the basics, you're gonna do all of that, whether you're competing or not competing. It's just my thought process.
Nice.
If you are competing, if you have a fight coming up, then outside of those regular classes, I will work with you on pads one-on-one, just to give you the extra training that you need, and so that I can make sure you're ready.
Okay.
So that's, I require a specific amount of training, because I never wanted that, again, going back to culture, I never wanted that culture where you have guys that compete and then, or girls that compete, and then after the fight, they disappear. And then when it's time for them to fight again, they go, okay, coach, I'm ready to go. You gonna hold pads for me? No, that's not the way it works. In order for me to hold pads for you and work with you and dedicate my time to you, I have to see that you actually want it, which is why if you're not training in the regular classes, and whether that's just repping the basics, running the drills again, or even helping out some of the newer people, like if I don't see that you're in that state of mind where you can do that, then I'm not going to waste my time on you.
Okay, nice. No, I mean, and also the training has to be the rough part, the tough part, because in the fight it is like you enjoy it already, right?
Exactly.
It has to be like that. Okay. And then Rob mentioned that he's always fight ready because he never skips training. I mean, he's training the whole week, and then
we don't stop. Again, that's another thing. Like I never wanted that where they disappear. Like you should. My thought process is that as an athlete, you should always be fight ready. Do we dial it up as we get closer to fights? Yeah, of course.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
But if a promoter comes in and says, I have this fight for you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is, we should be able to take it. Because you should be ready. If not, then you're not a fighter. That's just
agree. And then do you do the fighters do like cardio like on their own, or you do running sessions? How does that work?
When you come here, you're training Muay Thai.
Yeah, okay.
We have some cardio and conditioning built into the classes, jump rope and regular body weight condition stuff, but that's not the focus. They're not coming here for cardio. They're coming here for Muay Thai.
Okay.
So I always tell everybody, especially when you get to a certain level, when you're just starting out or just starting to compete, it's fine to try and, go to the gym and do some regular stuff and come here, train Muay Thai and do some running on your own. But when you get to a certain level, that's when you need different coaches for different things.
Okay.
You need the strength and conditioning coach. You need the recovery from whether it's a athletic trainer or physical therapist, whatever it is. You need all these different things. Otherwise, you're eventually not going to go much further. Okay. You need the different coaches. If you're an MMA athlete, you need Muay Thai coach. You need the grappling coach. You need the nutrition coach. Whatever it is. You need these people, otherwise you're not going to make it to the level you want to.
That's right.
But just starting out, you don't need all that. Do you have to run on your own time? Yes. You have to do your running, you have to do your cardio. Otherwise you're going to get in the ring and you're going to fall flat on your face.
Nutrition, as you said, is also really important, right?
A lot of different moving parts when it comes to being a competitive athlete.
Wow. And then when a student comes here, he's a beginner or she is a beginner, how long, if they want to fight, for how many, months they need to?
No time.
No time, there's...
No. Okay. Everybody learns at a different pace. Okay. Everybody has different abilities.
And the age
so
you
can't really put a specific time frame on that.
Okay.
So it has to be more of just watching and seeing the person and how they progress, what level they're at. Because everybody's, you could have someone who's ready in less than 6 months.
Wow.
Or you could have someone who's not ready for 3 years.
Okay.
Everybody's just goes at different paces.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, and then so talking about family again, how does your family helps you to keep you grounded or gives you like the strength to when things are tough? I mean, when you have so many activities, what is the role of your family into that when you are so busy?
I try to always, when it comes to all the different things I do for work and family, I don't like, I play a lot of different roles. The gym, USA Muay Thai, corner gyms, like to me, that's one thing.
Okay.
And then family is another thing.
Okay.
It's not 4 different things, it's 2 different things. So, and that's where I try to balance between family and those other things. So like my kids have a game, a basketball game or whatever game it is, I'm gonna always try and take off of everything.
So you disconnect from everything?
I try to, as much as I can. Just because I don't want to be the parent that's never at a game, or I want to be the parent that's always at the game. Do I miss some occasionally because I have no choice? Yes. and I hate it. But I always try to have, that balance as much as I can, because I know during the week I'm here till 8:30, 9 o'clock every night. So,
8:39. Okay.
I'm here from I get here around 3 o'clock, 3:30, and I'm here till 8:30 every day. So when I can be with them, I try to be.
Okay.
Sometimes I lose, I get lost in certain things that I do on the computer at home, and I need someone to be like, hey, because there's a lot of different things to do. So I'm like, I gotta keep focus and keep the balance.
You manage your time perfectly. I mean,
I wouldn't say perfect, but
no, but you do so
I
many
try.
things.
Yeah.
And then you always pick up your kids from school every day.
Drop off and pick up, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So because my wife works in the morning, so she works until from 7 to 3.
Okay.
So I always do the drop off and the pickup.
Oh, nice.
And then she gets home, that's when I leave.
Okay, perfect. It works perfectly well. Okay. So the future, talking about your future plans. Well, tell me first about, the podcast, because I want to know how did that started, because it was from 2015 to 2020. That was the time you started, 2015?
Roughly. Yeah. So.
What was the idea behind that podcast, growing the Muay Thai?
So I'll go back to what I was saying. I mentioned earlier, right? So it was my friend Eric, who was my training partner, and we started with Florida Sanchow, then Florida Sanchow Muay Thai, then Muay Thai is Life, and then Striking Corner. The podcast, he actually started that on his own at first.
Okay.
Because that whole time period I said when I moved back to New York and I kind of fell out for a couple of years, that's when he started the podcast.
Okay.
And he originally started it as Muay Thai is Life. Because that's kind of like, throughout, when we fully transitioned into Muay Thai, that was something that we always said, Muay Thai is life, Muay Thai is life. And then when I kind of fell off, that's what he ran with to continue it. So he started it, I think he did a couple episodes, and then I started the gym with, in my original space for that time period. So that's when, and I always spoke to him throughout, even when I wasn't in Muay Thai for those couple of years, we always spoke because we were always friends. Yeah. So, he told me what he was doing with it and everything. I'm like, all right, whatever you want, I don't care. So, but then when I opened the gym and it started, I was like, all right, maybe I need to get back into this. So I don't know if it was 2015, I don't remember. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But so he was using the name Muay Thai is Life, but then that's when Glory started getting popular, Glory Kickboxing. Okay. So then that's when we were like, all right, maybe we shouldn't do just Muay Thai. Maybe we should do both Muay Thai and kickboxing. Because if we're gonna cater to a community and have a podcast and try to get fans, we can't be just Muay Thai. Otherwise, we're limiting ourselves.
That's right.
So then that's when we came up with Striking Corner. And
I like the name.
Yeah, we and that's actually how me and Dan from Combat Corner met, because he had Combat Corner and we had Striking Corner, and he called me up and he was like, our names are similar. What are your plans? What do you plan to do? Because our names are very close. So that's how we became friends. Okay, nice. So and the podcast, the whole theory was just to interview, people in the sport, big names, just have everyone tell their story, just so that people who are new to the sport, they might be able to listen to someone's story and resonate with it, because it's similar to theirs. And just to show that, like, all these, we had people like John Wayne Parr on, who's the most down-to-earth person in the world. Wow. But we had a lot of big names, and that's just to show, like, these new people that may look up to, the big names, like they're just regular people, just like you and me, Yeah. So that was the whole idea behind that, just to hear from some of the biggest names in the sport, just to, try and help it grow.
And what was the story that you really stuck into it, like from all your guests that you have in your podcast, like something that stuck in your mind from any of the fighters you interviewed?
Oh,
Something that you can share?
I don't even know. My whole purpose, so I don't know if you've listened to any of the episodes.
I was listening to them.
My whole role on that show was pretty much to make fun of Eric.
Okay.
Because that's just the role that I like to bust his chops. That was the role that I played. But yeah, we had a lot of big names. I mean, there's so many stories. I really can't.
So many.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got up to 100 episodes.
Yeah. And then how did he convince you to do that? Like, let's do it. I mean.
Well, he was doing it, and I was, and when I opened the gym, I said, I want to get back into the whole Muay Thai is life and everything.
But then you were like,
and I was
convinced to do it. I mean,
I was not. I actually don't like really talking on camera or microphone. It's not something that I enjoy. As we're doing it right now, but
yeah.
So at the time, especially, I mean, now I've gotten a little bit more used to it, but at the time, it was completely out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
And at first I was like, I don't know, maybe I could just do some things behind the scenes. And if you listen to the first few episodes, I don't even think I said anything.
I was
there,
love to watch them.
and I wasn't really saying much. I was just there. And then, as time went on, I got a little bit more comfortable. But he didn't really need to convince me. It was just like, all right, whatever, I'll give it a shot.
And all your all the episodes were online, or there were also like in person?
It was all online.
All online.
Because there was people from all.
Time.
Yeah.
Okay.
He lived in Florida. I lived here,
exactly.
And then
had to be like
everybody else was from all over the world.
Okay.
So it was pretty much. We did a couple in-person episodes, but it was all because it's impossible.
Yeah.
Easier. We're a small podcast. We had no sponsors, no money,
That's right.
It's not like we could fly people in.
That's right.
So it was just.
And then why it ended, or what happened to the podcast?
Because Eric got lazy. No.
Okay.
No, it was just we would both have our not mishaps, but our issues with kind of keeping schedule, because the idea was to do one a week, and that never happened. It was just impossible.
It was too much.
Yeah, it was impossible, and then we would go months without an episode and just fall. Because whether it was like me, I can't make this one, or him, he's like, I can't make this one, and then just kind of reschedule.
But then you needed to be the two of you together to do it.
Yeah, we didn't want to do them individually. Exactly. We wanted it to always be the both of us to do it.
That's right.
So. We would always fall off and then get back on, and then once COVID hit in 2020, that's pretty much where it ended, because it was, we were in COVID. Obviously, we had more than enough time to do it, but we had nothing to talk about because there was nothing going on.
That's right.
So after we did a couple episodes during COVID, and it got to a point where it was just like, all right, there's really nothing else to talk about, so let's give it a break for a little bit.
Okay.
And then just both got busy doing all different things, and just never picked it back up.
Are you planning to picking it up again, or?
I don't know.
Okay, you have so many.
I haven't really thought about it. I always said, if I ever leave all these other roles,
maybe.
And I'm allowed to, not allowed, but I don't care about what people think of me anymore. Then I'm gonna go on and talk a bunch of shit.
Okay.
But for now, I'll leave it as is.
As is, okay. But then what advice can you give me and all the people that are like into this kind of podcasts and talking about mindset and combat sports? What advice can you give us?
Be consistent.
Okay.
Because I used to see that a lot, right? If we were consistent where we were doing the weekly or bi-weekly episode, when we did it on a regular scheduled basis, they would start to get more listens, more views, because consistency is the key to everything. If you do one and then you fall off and then you're gone for 6 months, it's like you're starting all over again. So consistency is the most important thing.
Okay.
And obviously content. You have to have content that people want to hear.
That's right. Okay, I agree. And then your plans for the future. So what's What's in for you professionally?
One day at a time. One day at a time.
No? That's all. Okay. But then, what is the legacy that you want to leave in Muay Thai? Like everything, like when.
I never really thought about that.
Okay. It's too early to think.
I guess I don't. Like I said earlier, I don't do things for a pat on the back or for people to know. Because if you see most of the things that the podcast was the only thing that I did where I was in the front.
Okay.
But most of the things that I do on a regular basis, I'm always in the back, and I don't want to go in the front. I try to stay behind. I do what I got to do. I get things done. Things look great.
Yeah,
fine. I'm happy. So I never really thought about legacy or this or that. It's just.
Okay. Or maybe opening other Legion Muay Thais, maybe?
I've thought about it.
Okay.
Maybe possibly opening up another location on the other end of Staten, because we're on one side of Staten Island here.
I've seen.
So I've thought about opening one up on the other side. I would, but the problem is just having the right people to be in both places.
I understand.
When it comes to business, staff is one of the hardest things.
That's right. And you need to trust that person completely, right? I understand. And then what is another big dream that you have aside from Muay Thai, like something personal that you would love to achieve in the
to retire tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, and do what, for example?
I want to travel more.
Travel more.
Yeah, that's something I would like to do.
What places would you like to go?
Oh, so there's so many different places that I want to go. I've been to Europe a few times. I would like to see more of Europe.
Italy, right?
I've been there a few times.
Okay.
But I've only been to where my family's from and where my wife's family's from, and we went to Rome.
You mentioned Napoli.
Napoli, yeah.
Napoli, right?
So I've been there. We're both from Napoli, just different parts of it. So.
Okay.
But we went to Rome last time we went, but I've never been to the northern Italy. So so
also the south is nice. Sicily, all that area. They say.
I never went that far south either.
Okay.
So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but traveling is definitely a goal that I would like, to achieve at some point.
So you have other hobbies besides training and doing all your things like coaching, everything. Do you have time to listen to music, or what do you do
in the car?
In your
on the way to and from? That's my music time.
What type of music do you like?
I listen to everything. Well, any kind of music.
Because when I have been here, like the music you play when they train is like mostly Spanish. So I don't know if you like.
Really?
I mean, last time when I was here, it was like Spanish. So and this time it was also. So I don't know.
Well, so you here now. I had a private lesson, but whenever it comes to, like, if it's private lessons or one-on-one training, I tend to let them pick whatever they want to listen to.
Okay, that's great.
Because then that will help them with their training. Music sometimes for some people plays a big part.
Yeah.
I personally, when I train, I like to listen to like high pace, like electronic music.
Okay, electronic.
Yeah, only because it kind of like a lot of times when I used to work, not in the classes, but one-on-one with my coach when I was training, we would work in the ring, but during the cardio kickboxing class.
Okay.
So they had that music going, and that's just kind of what stuck with me. So I need that high energy music, the high BPM, so that's what helps me not like I train anymore anyway at this point, but that's what I like to hear when I train, just because I got used to it.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, everybody has their own thing that they like to hear. I mean, obviously when it comes to classes, it's difficult to please everybody. So they just put whatever on, If somebody says, hey, can we put this on? I'm like, all right, go ahead. It doesn't matter to me, so. And
the ring that you have here, I mean, how many, like you do it for the clinching or the ring?
That ring, so that's they can't see it, it's the foldable ring. But I open that up, usually when I'm working with someone who's competing. Okay. Or if I have a couple people that are competing, I'll let them spar. In the ring, just because for the everyday person, they don't need to be in a ring. The ring is more for whoever's going to compete, so that they know what it feels like to be in that enclosed area. They understand how the ropes work. They know what it feels like to bounce off the ropes. You know, you need a little bit of that if you're going to compete. You can't just train in a big room and then go into a ring and expect it to flow naturally.
Yeah.
You have to know what that feeling is like.
Okay, I agree. And then one question also, when the students go to, I mean the fighters, they go into the competition, do you explain to them all the points, how the judges are scoring, what is more important?
So I actually try to explain a lot of that during teaching.
During teaching.
Because if you tell somebody why they're doing something, then they'll understand it and be able to accept it better.
Okay.
Because if you know, for example, when you teach a drill to someone, they may have a thought in their head, oh, but wouldn't it be better to do it this way? But if I turn around and tell you, no, you do it this way because, you know, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling you why, now you're going to understand and it's going to make more sense to you.
Okay.
And it's going to stick with you better.
Okay.
So one of the things that I started doing back in, I don't even know what year it was, but earlier and before, this is how I got involved with USA Muay Thai to begin with.
Okay, okay.
One of the reasons, because I started taking the judge and referee courses from USA Muay Thai.
Okay, that's important.
Because I said to myself, listen, if I'm going to coach athletes that are going to compete, I need to know exactly what the judges are looking for in order to train them better. So that's why I started taking the courses. Okay. So I understood better for myself. Because there's a lot of misconceptions of, especially, you know, years ago, it was, oh, no, kicks score more, this scores more. But really, it's none of that. So to understand what the judges are actually looking for helps you as a coach when it comes to training the athletes.
Okay.
So, like I said, I like to do a lot of that explaining while I'm teaching.
I see.
So I could say, you know, if you're blocking like this, you counter with that because it's going to be more effective for the judges, whatever the explanation is. But
so as a coach, do you recommend every coach to go like every year or every once in a while to that course?
Definitely.
Yes?
I make all my own coaches that work here, they do it also. So they're all trained also to be.
But every year is good to go because it changes?
As often as possible. It doesn't change.
Doesn't change.
But so over time, the whole reason to having a coach in anything or whatever is repetition. Because think of, you know, you're throwing a kick, right? If you learn how to throw a kick and then you sit on the bag and you keep throwing that kick, and now all of a sudden, you know, you start to pivot, a little over pivot, right? Too much.
Yeah.
Now that feels normal to you. So that becomes your new way of kicking, even though it may not be 100% of what it should be.
Yeah.
But if you don't have someone watching you, correcting you, saying, hey, you're pivoting too much, which is causing your kick to overturn or whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone correcting that, then you're going to continue to do it and it may get worse and worse and worse. That's why even at a professional level, you always need a coach. Because things are going to change over time without you even realizing it, because it happens little by little and then it just feels normal to you. The same can go in that sense when talking about judging and refereeing, right? You may remember a certain thing, the way something is scored, and then, you know, little by little you look at, you're like, is it this way? And then you remember it could be veering off from what it actually is. So just refresher, you know, every once in a while on things. It helps.
It helps. And then, do you know if any person can take that course?
Yes.
Like also, like fighters.
Everybody can take it. Whenever the courses happen, they're open to everyone.
Okay.
Like for example, there's one in a couple weeks.
There's gonna be one in Virginia, right?
No, it's
where?
in
I thought
Indiana.
In Indiana.
Because there's a prime fight night in Indiana, so it'll be coupled with that event. Okay. There will probably be a 3-day course at Nationals. That usually what we do is we bring in Tanong, who's the head of Lumpini in Thailand.
Okay. Nice.
We've brought Tanong in a few times and Gunther, who is the head official for IFMA.
Okay, nice.
So we bring them in for the tournaments, and they give the course because they're, you know,
That's
the
great.
best in the world. So if
Exactly.
you want to learn from anyone, it's them.
Ah, nice. Wow. Again, amazing. Okay, so yeah, so what is the advice you can give all the new fighters, or no, let's start with beginners. What advice would you give them if they want to follow that path? And then another advice for fighters.
For a beginner, I always tell everybody the same thing when they walk in the door. Just focus on learning and have fun.
Okay.
If you put too much pressure on yourself, it's just not going to be fun, and you're not going to stick with it. So as a beginner, if you're just walking into the gym or you're, you know, a couple months in, just focus on learning, have fun, enjoy the journey. That's it.
That's great. And fighters as well? They need
Fighters,
to also, this different?
No, it's not much different, but fighters just listen to your coach.
Listen to your coach, that's right.
Stay disciplined, you know, don't slack off, because when you go in the ring, you could get hurt, you know, and if you try to, you know, avoid your training or not do certain things, like I always say, in order to be good at the things you like to do, you have to do the things you don't like to do.
Yeah.
So do everything, listen to your coach, stay on track, stay focused so you don't get hurt.
I agree. Okay. So then, are there any upcoming fights for your fighters, like in this? Because we are already in November. Maybe this November.
Right now,
December,
we don't have anything on the schedule.
No.
There is a couple local show, Warriors Cups.
Yeah.
There's one November, and I think there's one December too.
Yes.
That I was going to put a couple in, but it just didn't work out with their training schedule and everything. So we'll see if there's anything early in the year. I would like to get them, you know, whoever does plan on going to nationals, I want to get them in the ring before nationals. I don't want, you know, I don't want, especially like I have one guy, Julian, who he's been out of the ring for I think 2 years now. Just because he was doing some schooling and stuff like that. So I want him to get rid of that ring rust before he gets back in for nationals.
I agree.
You know. So we'll see what comes up early, 26.
And the Grand Nationals, will be great. A good
Spring
experience
26.
for them. Wow, amazing. And normally when they compete there, they go to the IFMA World Championship.
If you win,
If you win, you always go, right?
In the elite divisions, at USA Nationals, if you win your spot on the team to go to the Worlds. Yeah.
Wow, nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So that's why many fighters that they want to achieve more should go, right?
And the IFMA Worlds, there's no level of competition like that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's only going to help you grow. So that's the what I follow here with my athletes. Like that's the goal, is to get there, because it's only going to make you a better fighter when you're competing at that level. So as an amateur fighter, your goal should be to make it to the IFMA World Championships.
And there are 2 IFMA every year, because there's the youth and the senior.
There's the youth and the senior.
Yes.
And then there's some other things sometimes, like World Combat Games or World Games, a few other different tournaments. This year we had Pan Ams for adults, senior Pan Ams.
In Mexico,
In Mexico, So there's opportunities.
And how many tournaments do you recommend a fighter to do in a year? Or
as many as possible.
As many.
Tournaments are good because you can get the most amount of experience in the shortest amount of time. You know, you could, like for example, if you're in a bracket with 8 people at nationals, you get 3 fights in 3 days. You can't beat that experience. As opposed to, fight nights are great also because you can compete. If depending on the area you live, like New York, we can compete once a month or on a regular basis. But in some other places you can't. So tournaments are the best way to go, because if you don't have regular local events, you may only get to fight once every 6 months. So why not go to a tournament where you can fight 3 times in a weekend? So it's good.
Wow, it helps a lot and helps you grow, right? So Vinny, can you please share your Instagram Your personal Instagram
Yes.
and your
Personal Instagram is at Vinny Scotto.
Okay.
The gym is Legion Muay Thai NY.
Okay, perfect. So many people, well, of course, you have so many followers, but many more to come,
Yeah.
of course, right? And thank you, Vinny, for this conversation, for your time, because I
Yes.
know you are super busy. And thank you, your gym is great.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you for
story is
coming.
really inspiring. And thank you for helping all these kids and people, beginners, intermediate, advanced fighters to be better every time at Muay Thai.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you so
you coming.
much. Thank you. This was Rouge Mindset. Thank you.